Welcome to the MicroStation User Conference 2021. In this session, we will see how you can reduce your risk and save time using automated design and documentation workflows. My name is Marco Salino, and I'm one of the product managers for MicroStation. As we just said, in this session, we will see how data-rich modeling and automation workflows can help you and your teams to shorten project delivery times, reduce the risk of errors, and minimize the time you spend on tedious manual tasks instead of design. As we know, infrastructure and building projects are becoming more and more complex by the day, and the deadlines are becoming tighter. With teams becoming larger and being spread across different countries, the rate of last-minute changes is increasing, while the time available to react isn't. As a result, we face new challenges to keep working effectively together on large projects. There are often significant changes that need to be made late in the project, and these changes may be related to specification, or there may be changes to one of the major components, or you could find mistakes later in the review process of your project. All of these can introduce risks and delays to the project. Even if the necessary changes are small, when you have to manually inspect and correct large numbers of drawings, it becomes a major task. This is stressful, it forces a lot of tedious and boring work, and is ultimately expensive and demotivating. An architect or an engineer should really be spending her or his time on design and not typing annotations. When the first generation of CAD applications became available, they were really like a digital counterpart of pencil, paper, and drawing boards. It was amazing to be able to draw something once and then reproduce it many times. Also, it was great to be able to modify parts of it and then reprint. But creating geometry was still the digital equivalent of manual drafting. And that's it as well. All they could do was to help you draw geometry. This made a huge difference at the time, but was of limited help when projects were large and complicated. But in the last few years, with BIM, which stands for Building Information Modeling, with BIM becoming more and more popular, software has started to help with much more than simply drawing geometry. So you have to make changes to your model, to your design, which, it might not be that difficult per se, but what about all the affected annotations, drawings, and data? Using traditional CAD software, you're stuck going through a lot of tedious manual work to fix everything. You have to manually look through all your drawings, make sure your annotations are up to the latest review and are correct, and also even propagating the changes of a design review through lots of sheets could be really a dreadful and really boring piece of work. What if instead you could make changes to your model and then let automation workflows help you to take care of the downstream changes to your drawings and reports? All of that is possible now with MicroStation, thanks to its smart modeling capabilities and property-driven workflows. In MicroStation, all elements and components can be enriched with attributes and business information. We generally call these properties, bringing a lot more value and intelligence to your projects. MicroStation gives you the capability to bring a high level of automation that simply isn't available in traditional CAD software. And also, it brings you much closer to the BIM way of working. MicroStation Connect Edition introduced a very easy to use but yet powerful framework for adding custom attributes to practically all type of elements in our files. We call this technology identypes. Identypes are the foundation of MicroStation's information-rich modeling and are very easy to create, organize in libraries, and can be as easily shared throughout projects. Identypes can be used to host all types of business properties, You can use them to extract and use MicroStation elements properties, such as lengths, areas, but also time and dates of your files. And this information can then be used in powerful expressions for smart automated workflow. They can also be looked up from an Excel sheet at the time of attachment, simplifying and speeding up greatly the tagging of elements and the management of your data. Item types are deeply integrated with MicroStation and can be used to drive parametric modeling, annotations, reports, and much more. We mentioned MicroStation's parametric modeling capabilities. In a nutshell, parametric modeling allows you to draw your models, set some rules for driving these models using dimensions and/or variables. You draw your model once, and then you can quickly change its size by only changing a set of parameters that you defined. This makes reusing and recycling your content much easier, while at the same time, it helps you to reduce the size and complexity of your content libraries. For example, where you had to draw a myriad of individual separate models just to represent simple dimensional variations of the same component. Now you only need to create one model and you can save all the different dimensional variations as a saved sets of values. This makes your content library smaller on disk, so it helps you to reduce file size, but also makes them less complex, so you don't have to browse through hundreds of models, but only maybe through a handful. Parametric models and components can also be driven by item types, making your content libraries more intelligent and integrated. It is very easy to tag your assets using item types. You can see how quickly we can link using our expression builder the data to an Excel sheet so that you can look up your items using a key property, very similar to what you can do using Excel lookup tables. You can define pick lists to reduce the risk of errors due to mistyping and make it less easy to pick up wrong values. Now you can also define the pick list directly from the same Excel worksheet where all the data is, making the management and sharing of this data much easier. You can also import and export instance data to Excel so that you can mass edit your data in the familiar and productive environment of Excel. You can also create a complete item type library in Excel to maximize your time and productivity. So we mentioned earlier how annotating and creating drawings can be very time-consuming tasks. They actually are very time-consuming tasks and can be very tedious and repetitive. Nobody wants to do this every time there is a change, as this also increases the risks of error. But what if, instead, you could create your annotations once and have them automatically update when there is a change in both the geometry or in the attributes? You can create text nodes and labels using all of the available properties in one of the MicroStation files, thus eliminating the need of manually editing the annotations text whenever something changes in some places. In this video, we can see a simple demonstration of how easy it is to create an item type library and how equally easy it is to tag an object with an item type and automate the propagation of changes. Item types can be stored and shared easily throughout a project across different teams. They support all major data types, and they really push the level of automation to another level. Using pick lists and lookup tables makes the tagging of your data very quick, efficient, safe, because they really reduce the risk of manual errors. When all your models or elements have been tagged, then creating drawings and managing annotation becomes very easy. You can see how these changes are automatically propagated to the annotations in your drawings. You can go back to your design and change sizes, shapes, or one of the specifications and not worry about having to manually edit all text wherever that was referenced. Being able to drive geometry and annotation through item types isn't all the MicroStation can offer to help you work smarter and more effectively. You can also automate the creation of reports. Report definitions can be stored in design files or they can be stored in libraries to easily share them throughout your projects and teams. These reports can then be run at any time on your files. They can be placed as tables in your drawings, and it is very easy to update them whenever something changes. MicroStation can also help visualizing your data in different and useful ways. We call this technology display rules, as this allows you to define data-driven rules for changing the display of your models and designs. You can create rules based on any property, including item types. For example, you can make all objects of a certain size or tagged with a specific attribute or item types to be hidden, displayed, or you can override their original color and transparency level or any other part of their symbology to make them stand out or be less visible. This way, you can make sure that the focus of your display is on the right set of elements. With property-driven display, the possibilities are endless, and the intelligent visualization of your data takes a whole new level. So we have seen how information-rich modeling can help you and your teams to increase productivity while reducing the risk of errors and the need for lots of manual, tedious, boring, repetitive work. And this is in pretty much all phases of your project. Be it for creating smart parametric models, for enriching your models with your data and then being able to automate your annotation and reporting workflows, or for quickly visualize what is the focus of a model in a particular scenario, MicroStation has you covered. Adding information to your designs not only adds value to your data, but also brings you closer to the advanced workflows that you hear so much about in BIM applications. In fact, MicroStation enables you to move beyond traditional CAD. By using MicroStation, you can narrow the gap in productivity between your team members who are using CAD and those who are already using BIM applications. MicroStation brings you a multitude of smart features and information-driven workflows to all your users. And if you aren't using BIM applications yet, MicroStation gives the opportunity to become more productive, competitive, just by implementing these powerful new information-driven workflows. We reached the end of our session. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope that you are willing to try and investigate more how the information-driven capabilities in MicroStation can help you become more productive, work in a smarter and more modern way, and add value to your teams. Thank you for your time and attention, and goodbye.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.